Welcome to Tyro TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina. And for those of you that don't know who we are, Ron and I are the co-founders of the Ridge Project and the co-developers of Tyro.
Tyro is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior.
Ooh-wee.
And out of our experience of traveling through penitentiary, poverty, and the entitlement mentality, right?
We developed Tyro to help individuals coming behind us become leaders in their home, their workplace, and their community. And this is a huge deal. If you want to be successful, you've got to learn how to lead and lead well.
So with that being said, today's topic is about, I want to think, something really powerful. You know, a lot of people go through life and maybe they kind of battle with their own self-doubt and maybe have a cloud over, am I worthy enough? Am I good enough to do something fantastic or great that will amount to creating a legacy we're talking about, right? And so I like to think of people who live through experiences of poverty, maybe divorce, maybe incarceration, or whatever that is. Now listen up, dads, because this is going to be huge for you for today's episode, that even though you might not have any official letters behind your name, I'm going to tell you, I really believe you have them behind your name.
That's exactly right. Today we're going to talk about reaching your goals. And in order to reach your goals, making sure that you have P.H.D. down, right? And so if you want to know what that means, you're going to have to stay tuned because we'll be talking about that throughout the whole show. And so our desire, our passion is to help everyone coming behind us become successful, to help you become better than us. When we talk about successful, we're not talking about how much money is in your bank account. We're talking about the amount of peace and joy that reigns in your heart and in your home. I love the fact that Ron and I and our family, we're stable, we're healthy, we're permanent. And that's exactly what we want to help you achieve in your family.
So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this episode because we're going to talk about P.H.D. And those are the letters I believe that if you've been through anything and you live to tell about it, those are the letters behind your name. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this episode, and we'll be right back.
Tyro Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. Tyro Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Cathy Tijerina's own personal experiences. Tyro Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of Tyro, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a Tyro, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to Tyro TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about P.H.D.
P.H.D. Woo-wee.
And that's like the formula or the ingredients that every father, every family should know that they possess
in order to reach your goals and be successful. And so we want to talk and break down what we mean when we say PhD, because we don't really mean like your doctorate degree. What we're talking about are the things you need to have in your life in order to be successful, in order to reach your goals, in order to overcome obstacles. And so the very first one, the P is...
persistent.
That's
persistent.
Right.
And you know what? And we believe that you already, this is already innate in you. And this is why you go through the things you go through in life in order for them to come out, right? In order for persistence to come out, you gotta have a dream, and you gotta know that how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to become successful? How bad do you want to not live an ordinary life, not be average Joe, but be extraordinary, to be that overachiever, to be that person that is accomplishing great things in their life? You have to be persistent.
Absolutely. And persistent means you do not give up. It means when you encounter resistance that you just keep going, you just keep going, you just keep going. Now that doesn't mean that you keep making the wrong mistakes. What that means is if you figure out that, you know what I really want is this cup, and you say, okay, well, let me try to get the cup by making Ron grab for it, and that's not working because he can't reach it, then you say, okay, I got to find another plan to do it. Let me see if I can push it over here with my phone. Well, that's not going to work. Well, let me try just picking it up, right? So persistence means that we're not going to give up when we encounter resistance and we find the place, hey, wait a minute. why I can't get it, I can't get there, we don't give up. And so that's what we're talking about when we use the word persistence. Be persistent.
So when Kathy mentions don't give up, in other words, when you keep making the wrong choice, right? Failure is not fatal, right? And failure is not final, right? So you made a wrong choice. You made a bad decision, and it got you where it got you, right? Okay, so then now what? You know what? If you're persistent enough, you're going to get on that right path. You're going to find out what doesn't work. That's what you're learning in life's lessons. You're learning what doesn't work, right? Think about, what's his name? What's the guy's name that created electricity? Thomas Edison. Right? How many times you think he hit a barrier before finally the light turned on?
Oh gosh,
Right?
I know it was more than 5. I know it was more than 10.
Yep.
I know it was more than 20. It was more than 30. It was more than 40. It was more than 50. It was more than 100. It was more than 500. And so, but every time, imagine if he would have given up, right? But he was persistent and he said, you know what? I did learn something. I learned what didn't work. And that's what we're talking about when we talk about being persistent.
I want to give you another example. I just read the mini autobiography of Colonel Sanders, right? And watching him go out through life, starting a business, failing, starting a gas station, failing, starting a restaurant chain, failing, or a restaurant, right? Started one. And it was really interesting. He started a restaurant, him and his wife did, and he was trying to do his chicken thing. And the restaurant had to shut down because the state came in and said, we want your land. We're putting a highway through where you built your restaurant. And he had to file bankruptcy.
Right.
So he went all the way to bankruptcy. And this is really interesting. He was like maybe 70, somewhere like that, years old before he had his first breakthrough with his chicken recipe, right? I mean, he's already almost 70 years old.
But he was persistent and didn't give up. And now the second one, and the H is humble. And this one cannot be minimized. If you get prideful and you let your ego overtake you and your pride overtake you, you will always be second rate. If you want to actually achieve the highest potential that you have, not only do you need to be persistent, but you need to exercise and practice humility.
Humility is so key because what happens is your ego would get you nowhere.
Right.
You would think you're getting somewhere, but if you're not humble, as you grow, as you empower others, and you begin to inflate yourself, thinking that it's all about you, now you're back to where you started from. Because it was thinking all about you is what got you where you're at today, right? Your best thinking got you where? Incarcerated. Come on, Dad. This is what we're talking about. So if you're persistent in reaching your dreams and goals, and now you walk with humility, right? Watch what happens. Watch the accolades will come. The pats on the back will come. The validation will come when you walk with humility and persistent in reaching your goals by empowering others to do the same thing you're doing.
That's right. And walking with humility also recognizes the impact that other people have had in your life. Because I guarantee you that you have not gotten where you are today in the positive realm without influence. The same thing is true. You haven't gotten where you are today in the negative without influence as well. But that humility and that humbleness recognizes, you know what? I need other people, and it's important that I make other people achieve their greatest potential along my way as well. So that's the P, which was what?
Persistent.
And the H
was humility or being humble. One more before we get into the third one is that when you walk with humility, that means you're teachable, right? I want to say that before we go into the next one.
I wouldn't say that that's the top of the list.
Yeah, you got to be teachable because that's a humble person when they're achieving greatness and creating great opportunities, right? They walk and they're learning from all those around them. They know they don't know it all.
And the third one is D, and that's determined, right? Determination is key because it goes right along with persistence. So you've got persistence, you keep trying. But what causes that or launches that persistence is your determination to be successful and not give up.
So you're focused.
You're focused.
So you're determined. So that means you're focused on what? On what's ahead of you. You're not going to let others distract you from creating a legacy that's worth living, that's worth manifesting for others to see and even to partake of. So you're persistent in your goals and dreams, and you walk in humility because you're driven. You already know where you've been. You know what you've accomplished in the past, which was doo-doo, right? And maybe you got some good things going on, but you wind up in the penitentiary because you lost sight of what you were trying to do, what you were trying to achieve. Because I meet a lot of guys, Kathy, I meet a lot of dads in there that had great ideas, great ambitions. They wanted to go, but they got distracted. They tried to circumvent a process of success. They tried to cut some corners, which ended them up 5 to 25, 10 years.
What they
right?
did is you took your determination all by itself instead of partnering that with persistence and humility. If you take determination all by itself, then it's all about me. I'm determined, nothing's going to stand in my way. I'm going to achieve this no matter what, no matter how, because then we tell ourselves that the end justifies the means. But you add persistence, and persistence means that we decide how we're going to get there, and you add humility that counts other people just as equally as yourself, and then determination lights that fire.
So we come back, we're going to talk about the why. Why is all this what we're saying important? So stay tuned, you don't want to miss this, and we'll be right back.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. Tyro Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through family days. As a Tyro Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to Tyro TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about the true letters behind your name because you've been through something.
And then letters behind your name that you need to keep behind your name in order to reach your goals and be successful. And that is P.H.D.
Which means persistent, humble, and determined.
Woo!
You know, and when you combine these three, you are an unstoppable dad.
You are unstoppable force, right? In
Man.
your children's lives, in your community, in your workplace. You put those three things together and you are the ideal employee. You are a powerful father. You are a powerful husband, a powerful partner.
You know, and you can be powerful right where you're at when you are persistent and humble and determined to come out of the penitentiary successful, ready to take on the things that are going to be coming at you when you walk out of there, Dad, ready to help be that shield of protection for your family, to help them overcome the barriers that they're facing in their life because of the choices you made that end you up there. But you're able to not only be empowered, but you can empower them to be persistent, humble, and determined because of the barriers and the fire and all the trials that they are overcoming because you're there, Dad. Your kids are battling. They're battling every day with self-doubt, with insecurities.
I hope you're listening to this. This is the number one why. The number one why. Your kids are counting on you to pave the way. So as Ron was talking about, you know, the insecurities, the self-doubt, the stigma that your kids are carrying, when they see that you face every obstacle and that you bring your P.H.D. with you and then you impart P.H.D. into their lives, they will overcome every obstacle. They will build resiliency. They will be able to find the resources that they need to equip themselves to overcome everything and be successful in their own lives.
You know, somewhere it's written where I can only do what I see my father do. Right? So your kids are watching you, Dad. They're watching to see how you handle the parole officer. They're watching to see if they go on a visit and all of a sudden you're not there, they're going to ask why. Well, are you in the hole? What happened?
And how you treat the people around you, how you continue to become better in spite of the fact that you're incarcerated. You have a ton of opportunities to be on your own continuous quality improvement plan, right? But if you decide not to take it, you can't get mad when your own kids give up. If you give up, Dad, you cannot get mad when your children give up.
And this is
so setting the bar.
This is so important, guys. When we're talking about the why factor, and we're talking about what is your purpose in life. You know, when you think about the P.H.D. that you have, you know, and you think about the letters behind your name, how do you empower them? How do you activate P.H.D. in your life? Look, you're going through something in the penitentiary that, okay, you're dealing in an environment that's already unnatural, but you're overcoming it every day. You're living to tell about it because you're persistent. Maybe you're working out. Maybe you're learning to read. Maybe you're learning to write. Maybe you're getting a GED, but you're dreaming. I'll tell you this, you might be doing all those other things, or you might not be, but there's one thing you are doing, Dad. You're dreaming of a better tomorrow. But if you're not persistent in acquiring the talent that it takes to have a better tomorrow, if you're not persistent in walking in humility because you're a convict, you're in prison, let that humble you, right? And you're not driven, right? You're not determined that to become successful. You will fall short if you don't understand these key principles in your life.
Not just fall short, you will fall down, right? And you might not be able to get back up. You have got to understand how important it is that if you want to become successful, if you want to get that job, if you want to see your family reunified, if you want to see your reputation restored, all of those things take this PhD, the persistence, the humility, and the determination in order to become successful. The why is your future. The why is your children's future and your children's current life. The why is your potential. You've got to figure out what is your biggest why. And I am hoping that if you're awake, Dad, I know that your biggest why is making sure that you're leading your children into a future defined by hope, peace, and righteousness for generations to come.
You know,
if you're still asleep, your big why might be make more money.
I was talking to a Tyro the other day, sitting down, we were having a cup of coffee, and I asked him that question, what is your why? And he says, that's easy. I wake up every morning and see it. I said, what is it? What do you see? He said, I see my kids. He said, his why is, you know what, I want to create a life and a legacy for my children that they never have to experience divorce, poverty. And this is why I work so hard, prison and all these things. This is why I work so hard so that they can have what my father didn't give me, so they can have what my family didn't give me, so that I can create an environment of peace and health for them so they never experience the things I did.
Now, understand what we're saying here. Making money, there's nothing wrong with making money. You need to make money, and we want you to get a job, and we want you to continue to make more and more and more money, right? But the why can't be, I'm doing well so I can make money. Because if that is your why, it will be way easy for you to get off on the wrong path. Your why has to be greater and deeper and more significant than just the almighty dollar.
And it's got to be bigger than you.
Right.
It has to be bigger than you. His children, our children, are bigger than us. What is your priority in your life? Raising a healthy, permanent family, right? PhD. You're persistent, you're humble, and you're determined to have a healthy family like no other buddy in your family's legacies and your family generations has ever created.
Before.
Right.
So when you think about what your why is, and I want you to take some time today, gentlemen, please, and start writing down what are the big whys in your life. Why is it that you want to be better? Why is it you want to give back? Why is it that you want to have dreams and actually accomplish those? What's the why that you're going to work persistently to make sure that, you know what, I'm achieving this in order to stabilize my family? You got to have the why. With your persistence, there has to be a big why. Right? And the second one is the humility. And humility, you've got to remember all the people that have helped you. You've got to remember where you came from. You've got to remember the obstacles that you're going to face, and that will keep you humble. And the third one, determination. That determination says, you know what, no matter what happens, I will not give up because my why is grounded, because I understand the value of humbleness and humility. And so therefore, my determination is going to power me through to get to the other side.
You know, when Kathy mentions never give up, there's going to be haters in your life that are going to come and they're gonna look at you and they're gonna talk about you and they're gonna do everything they can to stop you from succeeding. But you can't let that become your power to live or not to live. You can't let them dictate how you react or respond. Just, you know, you gotta have those blinders on when it comes to being narrow-mindedness, right? We're not talking about that. I'm talking about single-mindedness.
Right.
We're talking about being single-mindedness, and your focus is to create a legacy for your family. And when you understand that, when you activate PhD in your life, when you wake up in the morning, what is my purpose? My purpose is PhD, right? Persistent, humble, and driven.
That's right.
And how do you activate that? Look at your
Determined.
family. You're determined to activate it every day of your life.
And driven. I like you just said driven instead of determined for the D.
Yep.
But you know what? You have to be driven. And actually, I'd rather be led than driven, but you've got to be that determination that keeps driving and keeps moving forward. So we got to take a pause right now, and we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to tell you how to ensure that all of these are activated in your life so that you can become successful. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the Tyro program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about Mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a Tyro, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a Tyro. I'm a Tyro. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a Tyro or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to Tyro TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about 3 powerful letters that you should be writing on, man, that should be manifesting out. They should just be coming out, man. Coming out.
But only if you want to reach your goals. Only if you actually want to achieve something with your life. You need to practice these 3 core concepts.
P.H.D, persistent, humble, and determined.
Ooh-wee.
Man,
That's right.
These are powerful. This is a powerful recipe for success. And to really try to circumvent or get around this,
It won't work.
it won't work.
You can't cut corners, because if you're cutting corners, then you're sliding back into that criminal way of thinking that there's an easier way to do it. I'll just cut the corners and I'll get what I want without having to actually be determined, without actually having to be humble or persistent. But I'm telling you the truth, you cannot do it without these 3 letters behind your name. So when they think of you, people should think, wow, that person, that dad, he's so persistent, he's so humble, he's so determined. And they should be thinking those things about you achieving your dreams and leading your children well.
Now, they might even misunderstand your humility with arrogance.
Right.
Right? Because when you walk with
Or
humility,
your, actually, probably not humility, your determination. Or your persistence.
they could misinterpret all those things because you're going to have such a sense of confidence about you. And a lot of people don't know how to take that, especially when you come from where you're going to come from, Dad, right? You're coming out of the penitentiary, you're an ex-con, maybe you're divorced, maybe, or whatever. But then when you start to walk in this walk to where your aura about you, everything about you is powerful because you live to tell about it. And and it's not that you're arrogant, it's that you now have a new sense of self-worth. You have a new sense of confidence. You have a new sense of vision.
Yep.
And you understand what it takes to accomplish what you seek. You don't seek accomplishments, you accomplish what you seek.
Now, this is important because this is how you do it. So the number one way when we talk about how to implement those is to stop worrying about what other people think. And I've got a really great quote from a friend of ours and a supporter of ours, awesome lady, Michelle Thomas. And so this was a quote that she just gave, I don't know, a couple days ago. And I was like, gosh, I love it. So I'm going to share it with you. Quote from Michelle Thomas: "My desire to help others and to change my family's future is far greater than my fear of what others think of me or my motives." Ooh, that is exactly where you have to be.
I think you need to read that one more
I'm
time.
going to read it one more time. Write this down. This is
Write
really
this down.
important, okay? "My desire to help others and to change my family's future is far greater," like emphasize that, "is far greater than my fear of what others think of me or my motives." What a powerful quote.
It is a powerful
Because fear is the number one thing that's going to stop you from being determined and being persistent. Afraid of what other people be like, man, just give up already. What's wrong with you? Just stop. Oh man, you're so greedy.
Yep.
You're all about you. You're selfish. You're self-centered. And that's why the humility part is so important. But you've got to overcome the fear. Otherwise, what other people think of you or your motives will stop you every day.
So let me add to what Cathy's saying, because your family is out there, your wife, the mother of your children, and everything that's happening to them, they are hearing all type of negative things and getting bad advice about what to do in their life concerning you, right? So you have to be that cheerleader, that one who's going to empower them and cheer for them that they can get through this season in their life, right? But if you're not cheering them on, right? If you're not encouraging them to be persistent, if you're not encouraging them to walk in humility and to embrace this experience that they're having and to be determined to whatever that might be, get off food stamps, buy a house, become financially free, while you're still there, Dad, come on. the society, the fear is going to overpower them because they're going to care about what other people are saying.
Right.
They're going to, because that's how it was before you went to prison, right? It was all about, you know what, I want to keep up with the Joneses. You know what, I'm concerned about what they're going to say about me and my relationship with you.
Right.
You know, it was
and
all
my
about
motives,
Yeah.
right? You're always concerned about what other people are going to say about our motives. The only person that should be concerned with your motives is you. You need to search your own heart. What is my motive for doing this? Is my motive to manipulate? Is my motive to take advantage of someone? Okay, then if that's your motive, you got to take a step back further and say, okay, how can I change my motive? What do I need to do differently so that my motives are right? Or
And
is
so
my
here's-
motive?
And here's the how.
Right.
Ready? Attitude.
Woo,
What's
yeah.
your attitude behind it? You know, if you're like moving in revenge, or I'll show them.
Right.
You know, don't let that be the source of power that takes you where you want to go, because what will happen is you'll never be satisfied.
Right.
It won't satisfy you because you'll still want to rub people's faces in it, right? That's not what we're talking about. That's not true humility. To where when you're walking in humility, you want to empower others, even those who have hurt you, and even those that you mistrust. You want something great for them. That's
Right.
what happens. When things are happening to you, you're walking in persistence, you're walking in humility, and you're determined and you're driven, and success is starting to come. You want everybody to experience what you're experiencing.
Right. So number 1, overcome fear, right? Be determined, don't give up. Number 2 is your attitude. What is your attitude? Check your attitude and make sure your motives are right. Because when you've got the right motive, it will fuel your determination and your persistence and your humility to the place where you actually achieve what it is you're trying to achieve.
So what are we talking about? 3 powerful principles. We just gave you 2.
Right.
Fear, right? It will set you back. It will stop you. The second one is know your attitude. Have the attitude of gratitude. And when you move in that, you'll know your motive is pure and honest. And the third one is
patient.
Woo!
So it is not going to happen overnight. If you say, you know what, I've been persistent now for 6 months. You know what, and I really believe that I'm operating in humility. And you know what, I'm determined to make my dreams come true. But gosh, 6 months and I haven't moved an inch. Be patient.
You know what I think about when you say that 6 months? You know, I can imagine when you were carrying our sons.
Yeah.
You know you had 9
And our
months,
daughter.
9 months,
Yeah.
and our daughter. But I mean, there was times probably you were like, "Oh my gosh,
I'm done."
I'm done," and it's only been 6 months. Man. You got 3 more to go. 3 more to go. And so when you walk with patience and you let patience have her perfect work in your life,
Right.
man, you won't even believe the outcome you will have. Everybody will come and they will see your success, and you don't even got to say nothing.
Right. And so when we come back, we have to take another short pause. When we come back, we're going to wrap it all up with our final segment. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Tyro Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You will begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. Tyro Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Cathy Tijerina's own personal experiences. Tyro Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions. To own it, you'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of Tyro, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a Tyro, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to Tyro TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
Man, and we've been having a great time talking about P.H.D.
That's right. Reaching your goals through practicing P.H.D. And that is
Persistent, humility, and determination.
Woo,
Say it with it. Persistent,
Persistent,
humility, and determination. Say
Yep.
it with me, babe.
Oh, sorry. I was saying persistent, humble, and determined.
All right, let's do it that way. Persistent, humble, determination.
Okay, so I'm still saying determined, and he's saying
All right,
determined.
but you
that's
guys
okay.
get it though.
You
Just
get
say it. You start rapping that song, man. Rap that song. When you wake up in the morning, you wake up, you're gonna be persistent in what? Maybe you want a 6-pack. You know, you're in a health club. Get a 6-pack. Maybe you want to learn how to read. Be persistent. Maybe you want to learn your alphabet. Come on, guys. I know there's some guys in there, dads. Maybe you're not really good at your alphabet. I get it. I used to be an ABE teacher. I know there's some of you in there that need to learn your alphabet. And you know what?
It's okay.
It's
Learn
okay.
it.
Learn it, man. You're on this continuous improvement plan, right? PhD.
That's right. And so we want to encourage you. So this is our last segment. And so we're hoping that you learn something today that you can apply to your walk as a father, as a husband or a partner, as a solid community member as you transition back into your children's lives and into community. So as you think about what is it going to take, first of all, we said, write down the things that you really want to achieve. What are the goals? What are the things you really want to achieve? And your big why. Don't forget to write down the things, the reasons that you're actually driven to achieve those things. And now look at each of those and say, how can I be persistent, right? And remind yourself, I've got to be humble, and then let that determination loose.
Because if you're moving in life and you're moving forward and you're missing some beats in this, here's a great opportunity for you to fix it right there where you're at. So that when the things start to accumulate, when you start to walk in success, when you do leave that penitentiary, Dad, when you walk home and the people are now giving you accolades, and because you're moving in success, because you're walking with persistence, humility, and determination, and you're determined, right? You always got to examine yourself daily to make sure that you're walking in P.H.D. Because if there's any area of your life that you're not activating P.H.D, that's where you got to stop and examine it. What is my attitude? What is my motive? Why am I doing this? Because that could be that bad apple that takes you totally out, right? And it's really important to know each and everything that you're doing, why you're doing it, what's my attitude about it, and am I being humble about it?
Your children are watching you for cues on how they should behave, on cues on how it is that they should live their lives. Give them the right cues to set them up for success, Dad. Nobody can do it like you can. Nobody can replace your place in your children's lives. And so we want to encourage you, if you're not part of the Tyro program, to figure out how you can get connected to the Tyro program so that you can have the supports in place you need to be the best dad you can.
Listen, our time's up, but we've had a great time discussing P.H.D. So I want to just end it with this. Always remember that we are rooting for you.